How's it going, guys? Nintendo enthusiast here. So today I wanted to talk about the Game Awards. Of course, this happens every single year in December. This is Geoff Keighley's big event where we get all types of announcements and trailers, and sometimes even some really big reveals. 2022 is already looking like a very stacked year, so I'm really curious to see what else might be under some of these developers' sleeves. There might be some more big, heavy hitters on the way. Today I want to talk about the stuff that I personally would like to see at the Game Awards. Obviously Nintendo focused with this being a Nintendo channel, but I'll delve into some third-party stuff and some Xbox and PlayStation stuff at the end of the video. First up, one of my most anticipated Switch games is Bayonetta 3. And as crazy as it is, Bayonetta 3 was first revealed way back in the long ago time of 2017 at the Game Awards. So with Nintendo, Platinum Games, and Geoff Keighley already having this relationship revealing Bayonetta 3 at the Game Awards, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another gameplay showcase for the title and possibly even a release window or maybe a release date. I would love for this game to be in the first half of 2022, but let's be honest, this game has been a mystery ever since it was revealed. Thankfully, we finally got gameplay earlier this year, but it wasn't much, so it's very much possible that the game is coming in the second half of 2022, or possibly even 2023 at this point. I don't know what's going on with this game, but I'm just so excited for it, so I want it to be sooner rather than later, and I honestly think it has a pretty good chance of showing up at the Game Awards. Second up is obviously one of the biggest Nintendo titles on the horizon that's coming next year, hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes as planned, which is Breath of the Wild 2. I would love if we finally got a real title for this game. I'm tired of calling it Breath of the Wild 2, and I'm ready to see more. Now watch, it gets revealed and it's actually called Breath of the Wild 2. Wouldn't that be something? But anyway, we did get a brief gameplay reveal for this title, but we still don't know much about it. It's still a big mystery, like what's the structure of the game? What's the story? Are we in the same open world? Are there going to be temples? Are there going to be linear sections? Is Hyrule laid out differently than it was in the first Breath of the Wild? I just want to see a little bit more, and then next year during some type of Nintendo Direct, they can give us a deep dive of what this game is, because let's be honest, it's going to be massive, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Now, you might remember in early 2019, it was in January of that year, Nintendo announced that they are delaying Metroid Prime 4, and its development is basically being rebooted with Retro Studios, the studio that developed the original Metroid Prime trilogy, which honestly makes way more sense. I'm glad Retro is doing it, but I'm just so curious about this game. Like, what's it going to look like? Are they going to use some type of artistic art direction? Are they going to aim for realism? Is it going to be super shiny? I just really want to know how the game looks, how it plays, and what type of new elements it brings to the Metroid Prime series. And I gotta say, after Dread and all of the hype around it, it's actually one of the nominees for the Game Awards. I think now's a perfect time to start talking about Metroid Prime 4, even if it is still a year and a half, 2 years out. Just giving fans some breadcrumbs or a tease of the game, I think will go a long way, especially since Dread is nominated at the Game Awards. I think it's a perfect time to show Metroid Prime 4, like I was saying. But yeah, is it likely? I don't really know. This game is such a mystery. Yes, it was rebooted in 2019, and it was early in the year, but did they carry anything over at all that the previous studio was working on? We don't really know. Maybe it's further along than we think, or maybe it's still in early pre-production or something. It's just such a mystery. Now, this next one I think has a pretty big possibility of showing up at the Game Awards, and it is Splatoon 3. I'm not much of a Splatoon guy, but it seems like this game's going to have a more focused single-player experience, so this will be one of the first times I actually invest a lot of time into a Splatoon game if it has that single-player element. That actually intrigues me quite a bit. I think since this is planned to come out next year, there's a possibility that we're going to see it, but keep in mind, I don't think we're going to see all of these. I think it's possible that we see one, maybe two of these tops, but we're definitely not going to see every single thing that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the likelihood of seeing them, but that doesn't mean we're going to see every single one of them. Now, this next one has been a long-rumored game that I'm personally really interested in because it is one of my favorite series of all time, and it is, of course, Resident Evil Outrage. This is apparently a Resident Evil Revelations 3 type game, and all of the rumors had suggested that it's going to have a marketing deal with Nintendo and possibly even timed exclusivity on Nintendo Switch. All signs are pointing to this game being similar to Resident Evil Revelations. Maybe it's going to be a co-op experience. I don't expect this to be a full-blown AAA Resident Evil game that we've been seeing with Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 2 Remake. Not going to be that type of situation, but I would really love to see another Revelations title. I think getting these smaller Resident Evil games in between the big ones is really nice for the fans. And the Revelations titles specifically, they're very fan servicey, which I love, seeing lots of characters that we've seen in the series previously and whatnot, and apparently Rebecca Chambers is going to be the main character of Resident Evil Outrage, and as a Resident Evil Zero fan, that is very exciting to me. It seems like this game is definitely real, and the rumors were that it was going to come out this year, but maybe things got pushed and it's coming out next year, or maybe, hell, maybe the game doesn't even exist anymore. You know how game development goes, lots of things change. Actually, you might remember that Resident Evil 8 actually previously started as Resident Evil Revelations 3 before they decided to change it and make it a mainline title. But apparently Outrage has been in development for a while, so yeah, I really want to see that. So that's all of the big heavy hitters that I would expect Nintendo to talk about at the Game Awards. Of course, we're still likely to see some smaller indie titles that are planned for Switch, but it's really hard to say which smaller indie games are going to show up in the show. So with this last bit of the video, I'll talk a little bit about PlayStation and Xbox. Now with Xbox, a game that is rumored to be showing up is Hellblade 2, which is one of my most anticipated games. I absolutely adored the first Hellblade game, which is actually on Nintendo Switch, and it's actually a pretty good port. So if you've never played Hellblade, go check it out on Switch, or if you have another platform, go play it with better graphics on that platform. But yeah, Hellblade 2 is going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive, and I cannot wait, and I really hope to see it. And also, the game was actually revealed at the Game Awards. I think it was the year before last. It was revealed with the Xbox Series X console, so obviously Xbox isn't afraid to go big at the Game Awards. They revealed their frickin' console there, so I expect to see some big games from them during this show, and I really hope Hellblade 2 is one of them. Aside from that, from Xbox, I would also love to see another peek at Starfield, which is planned for next year in November. I'm very interested in that game. This is the first new IP from Bethesda Game Studios in a very long time. I think over 20 years or something like that, so it's highly anticipated. So yeah, I just really want Starfield to be something big and special, and I think it's going to be, but I really want to see more of it at the Game Awards. Now, aside from that, from Xbox, I won't elaborate on it too much because I don't want to talk too much about Xbox and PlayStation on this Nintendo channel, but I would really love to see, anything about Avowed, Forza Motorsport, State of Decay 3, Redfall, Contraband, Indiana Jones, or of course, Perfect Dark. There are tons of big Xbox and PC exclusives coming. Xbox is just on fire right now in my opinion. I mostly played on my Wii U and Switch and PS4 all last generation, but ever since the Series consoles came out, I've really switched it up and played a lot more Xbox and Switch, and my PS5 has sort of collected dust over the past year, which is unfortunate. But let's talk about PlayStation a little bit. They are having a very dry holiday season this year. We have not seen any major titles from them since Deathloop, which funnily enough was a Xbox Game Studios title now that Xbox owns Bethesda. But it of course launched exclusively on PlayStation 5 because of the exclusivity deal that they had before Xbox bought Bethesda. But yeah, next year looks like it's going to be something really special. Horizon Forbidden West is coming out next year, as well as Gran Turismo 7, and God of War is actually slated for next year as well. So if all three of those major titles hit 2022, PlayStation is going to have a hell of a year. And for me personally, at the Game Awards, I would just love to see more Horizon Forbidden West. That is one of my most anticipated games. I absolutely loved Horizon Zero Dawn. It's probably my favorite PS4 game of all time, and I cannot wait for its sequel. But yeah, that's pretty much all of my thoughts and predictions and whatnot on the Game Awards. Sorry this video was so long. It's a lot longer than my typical video, but I'm very excited for these new announcements and reveals. I'm hoping Geoff Keighley has some big things in store for us. And 2022, it's going to be a crazy year, and I cannot wait to make videos and podcasts and all that kind of stuff about all these games and movies and TV shows. There is so much happening next year, and we are almost there. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. Tell me your predictions in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you guys later. See ya.